Well, hello, everybody. We have got storms in Ozark, Springfield, Missouri. I want to show you this video I took just moments ago. Look at this. Yeah, look at that. Look at that hail. Damn. I don't think it will. Goodness sake. Woo. Jim, I just wish you'd look at that. Look at that. I'm looking. I wouldn't want to be on the road right now. Woo. I hadn't seen her. Minimize. It's slowing down. It needs to stop. Damn, people, we in the middle of a hailstorm. Hell's raining down. Come on, baby. Look at it piled up. Yeah, there it goes. Woo! Sugar on top. We minimized it, Jim. Minimized it. Right. I don't see no dents. You ain't close enough to see them. I can't see them anywhere. I don't see any busted windshield. That's the main thing. No roof blew off or nothing. Here's the thing, buddy. I'm not going to get in it and run the shelter. When it had sitting there with full coverage insurance, yeah, wouldn't have paid a dime on that hail damage because the car ain't working. Now it's just sitting there with liability insurance and like. And it's like just 200 and something a year, ain't it? It's like, hey man, you can't beat it. I can't complain. Can you imagine these people got them $100,000 cars? What they going through? Yeah. Oh my God! Here's what I was thinking walking that way. My dad one time in Texarkana, before he got his trailer set up right and had a carport, he had a brand new '78 Caprice Classic. And he told me, he said, son, I watched it do $2,500 damage in 20 seconds. That's what he told me. In 20 seconds. That's how long he said it took. Well, look, that didn't take long to, when it reached the real high peak. Yeah. And if it would have been as big as, a silver dollar or something, it would have tore them up. Oh, yeah. But I don't see no busted windshields or anything like that. No, it's all good. Over now, hopefully. All over. Everything went across the highway west of us. Ollie out's in free. Ain't that good? Yes, it is. Yeah. All right, we back. We got sound. Yeah. You've got to pay attention to that sound slider button. It should come on automatically. But look, this is a video I just got through making. Just put it up live on YouTube. I want you to watch it.
The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
Christmas ornaments, drywall, and Jerry Epstein. Name 3 things that don't hang themselves.
Do you believe in the Tooth Fairy?
No, sir.
Do you believe in the Easter Bunny?
No, sir.
Do you believe that Jimmy Hoffa died of natural causes?
No, sir.
The next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
Christmas ornaments.
Oh, that's just too funny. I just love Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana. My sound's low again. Hang on. I just love John Kennedy from Louisiana. And he's just too funny. Now I'm gonna just scroll through some more of them.
Take a look at he signs by AutoPen. Who was signing all this stuff by AutoPen? Who would think you signed important documents by AutoPen? You know, these are major documents you're signing. You're proud to sign them. You have your signature on something. In 300 years, they say, oh, look, can you imagine? Everything was signed by AutoPen, almost everything. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. So, should have never happened. Take a look at he.
All right, that's just the tip of the iceberg with this AutoPad. What they've done is they figured out that Biden had signed exactly the same. They used AI character recognition software. So, let me get my drink of water. So, that means that it was questionable. Was it his signature? Did he know what he was signing? So as this full disclosure gets going, that's why they push this video out there. It's about um, AutoPad, but that ain't the technology they used. AutoPad means that you're following the lines of somebody's signature and you match it. This is more diabolical than that. These people are thick. Now listen to what he says.
Signs by AutoPen. Who was signing all this stuff by AutoPen? Who would think you signed important documents by AutoPen? You know, these are major documents you're signing. You're proud to sign them. You have your signature on something. In 300 years, they say, oh, look, can you imagine? Everything was signed by AutoPen, almost everything. Nobody's ever heard of such a thing. So, should have never happened. Take a look at he signs by AutoPen.
It should have never happened. I agree totally. Yeah, it should have never happened. I agree totally. But it did. Okay. We've been through this thunderstorm, so that's all the actual information that I want to show you is kind of scattered now. But I'm gonna try to go through a little bit of it. But while we're on this row, I want these are my shorts. I want you to look at them.
Yeah, and here's what the protesters want people to believe, Senator, want them to believe what's happening on college campuses like Columbia. Watch.
They're only deporting him because of the positions that he holds. And that is an incredibly dangerous precedent. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights is there to constrain the state in terms of how they can act on individuals. And if they can pick and choose how they apply that, how they evade those constraints, then I think we're living in really dangerous times.
Okay, that man, I guess, has a college degree. He's incapable, apparently, of reading statutory provisions that are applicable to a non-citizen who happens to be a permanent resident, not an American citizen, Senator.
Yeah, we are living in dangerous times. If you are a Jewish American on campus, on one of these liberal campuses, real dangerous. You hit the nail on the head. The law says that you cannot break our laws and remain on campus. You cannot violate the security of the United States. This administration's following the law. That's what all these crazy leftists hate.
Senator, always great to see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, and here's what the protesters want people to believe, Senator, want them to believe what's happening on college campuses like Columbia. Watch.
They're only deporting him because of the positions that he holds.
This guy right here, we see it time and time again. They find somebody in the crowd that wants to talk, and he's already got a pre-prepared statement. He can't even look the camera in the eye. You see his eyes. It's obvious this man's an actor. We're watching a real-time live operation of hopefully the good guys psyop. But I'm going to tell you something. Good guy, bad guy, indifferent. We're not being told the truth. Now the rain's picked up, so I hope you can hear me. But if the quality's bad, I can't do nothing about it. All right, listen to him and tell me that he's not an actor.
And that is an incredibly dangerous precedent. The Constitution, the Bill of Rights is there to constrain the state in terms of how they can act on individuals. And if they can pick and choose how they apply that, how they evade those constraints, then I think we're living in really dangerous times.
Okay, that man, I guess, has a college degree. He's incapable, apparently, of reading statutory provisions that are applicable to a non-citizen who happens to be a permanent resident, not an American citizen, Senator.
How you like my little artwork where it's got an alien? They used to call immigrants aliens. They don't do that no more because they know there's such things as real aliens. These little green ones and gray ones, they're the ones that people they call the grays. But yeah, they can't call somebody that comes across our border anything but an immigrant. Yeah, they have other words. All right. Let me see what I got next for you.
If your TV is telling you that the man negotiating for peace is a dictator and the one basically flirting with World War III is a hero, it might be time to turn that shit off. If your TV is telling you that the man negotiating for peace is a dictator and the one basically flirting with World War III is a hero, it might be time to turn that shit off. If your TV is telling you that the man negotiating
That's just too funny. I thought I'd put that out there. I've cut my television off. I've cut watching TV off. I've been weaning myself off of it for over 15 years. Been here in the Ozark area for going on 9, 10 years. And I watched Antenna TV. Yeah, Dancing with the Stars and Ninja Warriors. And then I'd cut it off. Inundating yourself with the the system of controlling your mind and your thoughts is a sad thing. But if you practice weaning yourself off of television, it's the best thing, especially mainstream news. It's not fit for consumption. Let me see what I got next.
They say it's
Oh yeah, this is a good one. I had to look at it to refresh my mind. All right, I'm gonna click it on. I want you to hear it.
they say it's a fact that trans girls are girls. And the ACLU and other activists have also said that it's a myth. They call it a myth that transgender female athletes, like Katie, formerly John, they say it's a myth that transgender female athletes have a physical advantage over girls. They're wrong. This is wrong. You don't need a graduate degree in anatomy to know that. I mean, those claims are specious. Medical science and athletic data both demonstrate that the difference is obvious and that males, no matter how they identify, have a significant advantage over females in girls' sports.
They're just stronger. Their upper body's more to the masculine side. Oh my God. Bruce Jenner. No sound. Gummit, I had it down again. Boy, I need it. I need it. Okay. Bruce Jenner. God help the situation around what happened there. But a man's man for all practical purposes. And then he gets with a deep state mind control system that just totally, he sold himself down a road that he couldn't get himself out of. All right. Enough said about that. Let's see what I got next.
One other thing, I just before we leave, I think you should do this. For my safety and security and for the good of our nation, you should do it anyway, regardless, even if it costs 10 times more, but it actually costs you just a tiny fraction. If you went to paper ballots and you're voting, and I would hope that every Republican would, so it costs exactly 8% of what the machines cost. These machines, they got something going. They get business. It's amazing. So paper ballots, and paper is very sophisticated today. Paper, it's called watermark. It's impossible to copy, impossible to cheat. It's actually hard to believe that a piece of paper is highly sophisticated, but it's watermark, and it's very, it's amazing actually when you see it. You can't cheat. But if you went to paper ballots and same-day voting, and if you went to voter ID, and also one other thing, you want a proof of citizenship. Those four things: proof of citizenship, voter ID, paper ballots, one-day voting.
Wow. That is the reason I posted this one was overturning something that was done wrong to this man was told to the people that could hear back then that there was these ballots had watermarks on them and they were sophisticated. Basically, they were tied to the blockchain, and that can't be duplicated, but it can be authenticated. And by authentication, then this man right here was stolen. Yeah, what he did was stolen. So what he does now is to show you time, space, and matter. It matters now that we know that paper ballots in the future is the way to go. The machines, just for entertainment purposes only, and satire, you know me, those machines are like any other kind of machine. What can you do with a machine? You can hack it. You know what hacking it is? That means you take control. In a funny way, these so-called elites have taken control of all of the country's voting machines. They say it's a conspiracy theory. Well, this video was put out to let you know the beginning of your thinking, because for some of us, we've been doing and living this for over 4 years, knowing that this information was going to be heavily suppressed. But we also seen the future that one day we'd be able to do this, sit around and talk about it, and bring people up to speed on it, and try to do it in such a creative way, in a loving way, that people, when this story, it's going to be the greatest story ever told. But when this story gets to the consciousness of the collective consciousness that's been under brain, how do you say, brain control, mind control, and the spell is being broken slowly but surely. All right, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. This is not happening because we instantly discovered that paper ballots is the way to go. No, we had to have a calamity. Something had to be stolen from a very important person that has to do with our freedoms. Don't take our freedoms away. All right, let's see what I got on the next one.
Yeah. Now, another question quickly. Do you think we ought to be sending government checks to dead people?
No, Senator, I think that's poor management.
During the pandemic, we sent out $1.4 billion of checks to dead people, didn't we?
I don't have the figure, Senator, but I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Yep. And they were cashed, weren't they?
They generally get cash whether they're dead or not.
What does that tell you?
Somebody's live.
Yep. Now, Senator Carper and I passed a bill. It took us 2 years. To try to stop that, when you die, the state sends your name to the Social Security Administration. Your name goes on what's called the Death Master File.
Yes, sir.
I went to Social Security and I said, can I see the list? They said, sure. I said, who do you share this with? They said, nobody. We can't. We don't have statutory authority. So you don't share it with the do not pay folks at Treasury, they said, nope. Yeah. Now, another question quickly. Do you think we all?
Now they're putting this out there for us to get a little head start on the awakening of how they can steal money and cash checks at the same time. I'm sorry, but I think that's called money laundering. I think it's highly illegal. So they're starting to leak this out and use people like Senator Kennedy, that's a comedian, wannabe comedian. This is just for purely entertainment purposes only. I promise you, no Republicans were hurt in the filming of this thing. My feelings might have got bruised up a little bit because how long it's taken for the truth to come out. Damn. All right. Everything is starting to show up to teach and tell us stories about what happened to us. What happened was we let a bunch of deep state creatures from the swamp run amok and think that they were above the law. All right, let's see what the next one is.
Inflation has come down. That's a good thing, right?
It is a good thing, Senator.
But that just means when inflation has gone from 10% to 3%, that prices are rising less quickly. They're still rising, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
That's called disinflation.
That's if they fall, that'd be disinflation. Yes, sir.
No. If the rate of inflation comes down, that's disinflation.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay.
If prices come down, that's deflation.
Yeah.
Now, most Americans, they don't read Aristotle every day. They're too busy earning a living. They don't know the difference between deflation and disinflation, but they sure as hell understand that the high prices have remained, don't they?
Yes, Senator.
We've got a lot of work to do around here.
Yes,
and we need 4 years to do it. And we need a cooperative House and Senate to do it.
I agree, Senator.
If we don't get these high prices down, we're not going to have 4 years. We're going to have a divided Congress. You can write that one down. Inflation has come down.
He said, you can write that one down. Yeah. They're doing this slowly, surely, like you're opening a water fountain. You can't just drink it unless you slow it down at the beginning. And then you cut it on. Like as a little kid, you stuck a water fountain in your mouth, like a water hose outside, and your sister turned it on and she liked to blow your head off. Yeah, you got to be slow and use the drip drip method and then cut it up and let that, stream of truth come out a little further. And then people will realize that, yeah, there's a plan that's in place. I can't tell you how long I've been knowing about it, but it seems like I've been knowing about it since every bit of 19, I want to say 2010. I think it was around 2010. That's when I really had a download and some good informational facts that came to me and said that when this thing reverses and we get rid of these deep state swamp creature people from not just this country, but from all of the countries we've been sending money to, not that we take over their government, we just help them expose who the deep staters are, and they'll take care of it themselves with their legal systems, and they'll realize that all of a sudden we have an opportunity worldwide to possibly make the prices go back to 1950 level. If we do the right things, it's possible. Not saying it's going to happen, but it's something I've seen. And I've been waiting to hear the facts about how can it work. Well, number one, $1 is worth a nickel, and it's headed to a couple of pennies. I used to say it was worth a quarter and headed to a nickel. I can't say that no more. It's almost damn near worthless. all you people that's working and got house payments and car notes, yeah, you just can't quit paying people money that you don't have no faith in. But it makes it uncomfortable when we don't have the true truth. All right, let's see what this next one says.
I know you're a big fan of Elon Musk. He just went on a different channel. He was asked about DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. Let me roll a little bit of that.
I mean, frankly, I can't believe I'm here doing this. It's kind of bizarre, but I kind of think that we've got this enormous federal budget deficit, and it's a $2 trillion deficit. It keeps growing. Our interest payments are higher than our Defense Department budget. That's I think was the real wake-up call for me. Really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
Are you confident that Musk is doing this for the reasons that President Trump says, purely to help this country, purely to reduce the deficit, and not in any way to help his American-based companies?
Yes.
I know you're a big fan of Elon Musk. He just went on a...
Yeah, you heard it correct. At the very end of the video, it says yes, but you may have to play it a couple of times to get the gist of the story is. This is another one of them educational videos. What's so funny is this is CNN asking Senator Kennedy questions, trying to ask him, what do you think Elon Musk is up to? See, they're suspicious, but that's the act that they're playing. They're just like you and me in a funny way. They're real people. But in the other way, they're holding on to their money train. Because you see this man right here, he probably makes somewhere around $2 to $4 million a year. See this man over here, Senator Kennedy, he probably at the most makes $280,000 a year. And yeah, so when they go to lying and trying to see what one knows or don't know, they have to act like someone's the bad guy. And in this, the left or CNN is saying Musk can't be trusted. That's just setting us up for full disclosure of everything that the actor Musk is doing. Yeah, he's an actor. There might have been a real Elon Musk somewhere in the history line, but now you think he's running 5 companies and hanging out at the White House? No. This whole thing is a live operation, real time psyop. Don't have to take my word for it. Let's watch the next one and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Just say this. The left have really gotten to be a bunch of weirdos. I mean, just a year ago, they were all driving EVs and touting their moral virtue for doing so, and now they're burning down the dealerships, disrupting the State of the Union. These people are weird, and that's why the American people will not give them power.
I mean, I guess that's why they don't really care about the climate. It was never about lowering the Earth's temperature, because if you really cared that much, you wouldn't burn an electric car, Senator. What about the terror financing angle to hit them with? I mean, if you're giving money to a group that ends up using it to foment violence against people, why can't you go after Soros if he's funding these attacks?
Oh, we absolutely should. We should absolutely follow the money, and it ought to be traced all the way back to its source. And this is why I say, Jesse, the left has gotten by with this for years. This is a great project for the Department of Justice, and they ought to look at all of it. Who's funding these attacks? Who's funding? Just say this.
All right. Now that's a good one. We've been knowing for years and years that there's funded operations that were designed to flip a strip. And so when you flip a, oh, not enough volume. So, okay, when you flip a strip and you love electric vehicles because it's saving the climate, and all of a sudden you get mad and you go into a modality that is uncommon for your nature. What they done is they brought in a bunch of actors and paid them big money. He used the name Soros, and he said that when you go after Soros, and he's tied to terrorism, then what's that set the stage for? That sets the stage for arresting like these so-called lovers of the climate. Yeah. Well, I didn't hear about anybody getting arrested. When you see the videos and you look at what was happening and is happening, you're watching a movie real time. That is exactly what you're watching. All right. One more. Let's listen to one more.
Your thoughts about your opposing party?
My Democratic friends, Brian, seem determined to find out what it's like to be a Jets fan and lose every evening. He basically used the Democrats as a chew toy. Their opposition was twofold. It consisted of their little paddles that they held up. I thought Stephen Colbert said it pretty well. He said, I couldn't tell whether they were protesting or bidding on an antique tea set at an auction. Congressman Green's behavior was intriguing. Look, I don't hate the congressman. I don't hate anybody, but his behavior was butthead-like. I mean, it was very unbecoming. He's getting rid of spending porn. We've got a $36 trillion debt. Everybody knows that. When you have a $36 trillion debt, you do something about it. When you have hypothermia, you don't strip naked and run in the snow. Right. Democrats keep spending. The Democrats' favorite form of spending is more.
Yeah, he said their favorite form of spending is more. And it's just, for a little country boy like me from Mississippi, it's just so telling with the way that they're orchestrating the truth to be revealed to this disclosure that's fixing to come forth. I've been saying it was coming forth for over 15 years. This is like a slow train wreck. You just need to be ready, have some food. It never hurts to buy up food, 3 months worth of food. Do your research and figure out what kind of food. I'm not going to tell you what kind of food to buy, but you need stuff that you're going to eat in case this thing takes a road that, it's called being prepared. This is for entertainment purposes only. Nobody was starved during the making of this particular event. All right, let's see what the next one says.
And the press is acting like this isn't suspicious. You may assert there's no waste in the Pentagon. You may assert there's no waste in
Stephen,
Treasury.
I'm not
you may
asserting,
assert there's no waste in HHS.
Stephen, I don't think anyone...
Then why are you not celebrating these cuts? If you agree there is waste, if you agree there is abuse, if you agree there is corruption, why are you not celebrating the cuts, the reforms that are being instituted? Every day that no action is taken, the entire salaries of American workers that are taxed disappear forever.
Stephen, let's calm down.
This is
we're not having a debate.
There's no reason
about whether there are places...
You are clearly trying to debate me, and I will be, as I want to be, about the fact that we are saving Americans billions of dollars.
And the press is acting like this isn't suspicious.
You may assert there's no waste in the Pentagon.
He said it. They're acting. I remember when there was no word and they would different people from around the world. They called them actors. But these were like terrorist type people, or these were deep staters, or these were political people. But they started using the word actor. I don't know when that happened, but I felt it down into my bones and my marrow of my bones. I felt it that, yeah, I was shown at the beginning of my awakening, August the 17th, 2003, when I had these out of body experiences and was given the gift to time travel within my own life and heal it. I was shown and showed how this circular cycle of trapping souls into physical bodies was the diabolical plan of transhumanism. It's not a party that you and I are going to be invited to because we're not in the club. But the ones that are in the club, I can speak directly at most of y'all because you're not so far gone that you sold your soul to Lucifer. But one of these types of little banters back and forth from her banter to his banter, you can see low level energy of actors. And I just, yeah, it all has a meaning when it comes to $5 trillion, untrackable. Yeah, that has to make you think, what in the hell is going on? All right, let's do one more.
This executive order is the fuck around and find out order, also known as the FAFO. This order is for everyone who fucked around and will now find out.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?
This executive order is the fuck around and find out order, also known as the FAFO. This order is for everyone who fucked around and will now find out.
Hold it. This is a good one. Is everybody listening?
Yeah, I'm listening. Damn, that was a good one. All right. All right. That makes me up here and move on to something I want to show you that is where how to get off of there. Is all right. If you haven't been to my X page, this is it. Now, this is a very good book to get to know and read it. William Cooper had a lot of insights and a lot of inside information very early on. And so the very year 9/11 was done, he was saying that Tim Osborne, Osama bin Laden, CIA named Tim Osborne, was going to be the scapegoat. And he was 100% correct. Time has proven that there's enough information even before we started getting the leaks of full disclosure, like WikiLeaks and God bless Julian Assange. But now it's the story that he was telling in the book has got to be told for real so we can flip this collective consciousness of the so-called unawake people to come over to the reality that we've all been lied to. And yeah, there was one I wanted to show you that you recognize this guy. That's Louis Farrakhan. There's something about him and this white guy from Louisiana. No, not John Kennedy, but another man from Louisiana that kind of says the same kind of thing. And his name was David Dukes, and he got thrown under the train and under the bus, and yeah, nobody wanted to hear what he had to say. But Louis Farrakhan, without me getting myself in so much trouble that I come up missing or, you know, not able to be with y'all anymore. This is one of the final tidbits that's going to follow. And I want you to hear just a second or two of it.
know why the Jews are angry with me? Because they are the absolute master of their world. That's the boss. You know, the Jews, they don't fight. They let the Italians, the Irish, the Polish do their fighting. When the Jew comes out to fight, you've gotten to the top. Did you see Raiders of the Lost Ark? Whenever you're getting ready to get to the real prize, that's when you got to go through the hardest test. That's when the big dragon comes out. Well, I'm telling you, when you bring the Jew out of hiding, that's the last barrier you got to get by. Do they control education? Do they control the American Medical Association? Do they control the American Dental Association? The psychologists? The psychiatrists? Come on! They do. Are they over the teachers' union? Mm-hmm. Who runs the big publishing houses in America?
Damn, microphone wouldn't cut up. Dick, when I get to telling you this, I mean it's not for, it's for entertainment purposes only. So just hold on. But when you know there's a group of people for over thousands of years that had this power to spin these spells and to make creation mode into their shape of controlled systems throughout these eons. Doesn't make them right or wrong. It just made them more powerful than most people because they are the spell spinners. They are the Anunnaki, the Nephilians, and the interdimensional extraterrestrial beings that have all concluded to be the masters of this world. And they got away with it up until now. And now the glitch in the matrix started, I'd like to say, when they invented the internet. It was invented to control and capture us and to have complete books of everything you've ever did and ever done. Don't that remind you of Jesus and what that Yahweh God can do? Which ain't got nothing to do with the loving Father of the Creator of all things that's eternal. Not a thing. But what is the truth is true. And what's not is not. Trying to see where I'm going to go with this. Yeah. All right. Let me see what this says.
I think Elon Musk is a rock star. The tofu crowd is mad, but you know, when you trim fat, pigs squeal. That's just the way the world works. That's the law of nature. I think Elon Musk is a...
He thinks Elon Musk is a great person. And he is. Until they turn on him. Anyone that has come against this Luciferian deep state controllers of the reality that we refer to as our world. We're in this world, but we're not of this world. When we awaken to the Christ nature within our beings, we become able to see through the veil of time and reality itself, we become that Christ was and is. It's the resurrected power of Yahshua. And that Yahshua, I call it Ben Joseph. But that being was one of many that came against this control system. If it is Elon Musk, as it is somebody called Trump, as it is somebody that's Robert Kennedy Jr., that can stop the spell spinners, bring it on. Do it for entertainment purposes only and satire. But let the disclosure flow for the people on the earth want to hear the truth. Dead. Come it. I'm trying to move something and can't move it. And let me do this. Gummit. All right, I got to work on how to lock that back piece, and I ain't got it down. I want to make my picture bigger, but that's all right. Oh, look at it, I'm doing it now. And then I blow out of shape and you can't see me. Oh, crap. Where you at? Gummit. I shouldn't try to do this when I'm making a video, should I, people? No. I got to get me another way of having light. I said I was going to do that. Let me see if that worked. Hang on, let me try this. You know, I might be able to do that, and that helps light up this side of my face, but I got this damn microphone in the way. All right. I want to jump over here and show you something. Get over there and do that and go here. All right, we already know his story, but you go to Buddy Huggins on X and like my channel and subscribe, or whatever it does, and you can follow the information that I'm putting out. This is one I want you to see right here. This is interesting. Let me get the microphone adjusted. Hang on.
Everyone knows that getting rid of the deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about. But what should be easy is getting rid of the pointless waste and stupid spending that doesn't benefit anybody. Waste we should be getting rid of even if we didn't have a deficit. Sure, some of these cuts aren't that big, but no amount of waste is acceptable. Not when it's your money. Not at a time when so many Americans are already cutting back. Just as families are living within their means, government should too. Did you know the federal government pays for a website devoted to a folk music ensemble made up of forest rangers? They're called the Fiddlin' Foresters. I'll put their music on my iPod, but I'm not paying for their website. And there are hundreds of similar sites that we should consolidate or just get rid of. By the way, you're not only paying for websites no one needs, you're paying for thousands of buildings all across the country no one uses. For the last decade, the government's owned a massive and completely empty warehouse in the middle of Brooklyn, for example. Now, the government hadn't been able to sell this building and others like it because of red tape and Washington politics that held things up for years. But we're finally cutting through all that and plan to get rid of these buildings in the months ahead. We need to step up our game. We need to go after every dime. We need to make government work for you. That's why, starting today, I've asked the Vice President to lead a renewed effort to hunt down misspent tax dollars in every agency and department of this government. We're calling it the Campaign to Cut Waste, and I know Joe's the right man to lead it, because nobody messes with Joe.
There's a new standard by which the government is going to function from this point on. The American people.
I said, uh-oh. they're telling us a story about what's happening right now. And the two actors are acting and reading the script. That's politics. It happens all the time. All the time. Right in front of us. This is, let me read this to you.
The deficit will require some tough decisions. And that includes cutting back on billions of dollars in programs that a lot of people care about.
OMG, this is not AI, it's real. It's a must-watch. 2011 Obama announces a Doge department and puts Joe Biden in charge of it. Nobody messes with Joe.
You see how everything is right in front of us and nobody can stop living their life long enough to ask good questions about this reality and what is real about it and what's not real about it. But yeah, that's a thread that is very well your time to read it and look at it and pay some attention to what they're talking about.
Breaking, HHS Secretary RFK Jr. just announced the FDA is eliminating the exemption that allows harmful chemicals to be in our food. Make America healthy again.
Now, this is disclosure that we've been waiting on for a very long time. I personally have been very particular how I've been eating for the last 15, if not 20 years, and especially within this last, I'd say, 5 years, where I only cook my own food and I eat consciously. I've been doing that ever since August the 17th, 2003. That was one of the first lessons that Emily Limley taught me, was to slow down and make sure that I was consciously eating my food. That was a trick that she learned from the spirit of what our Creator Father is. And so she passed it on to me. I'm passing it on to you. But I want you to hear the wisdom and the disclosure of what this man is going to do, can do. And are we on the right timeline? Are we on the right creative, consciously thinking enough to make a shift in the reality of the fabric of this earth? Not only to help us as Americans, but to help the entirety of the world to come out of that spell that has been casted. He said he put us in a long delusion. We're waking up from that delusion and we're realizing that that God that they tell us is not our real Father. And that being that I am is greater than I've ever been told. Not that it's an egotistical thing, it's a fact. Listen to what this man says from one God person to another person.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I'm the Secretary for the Department of Health and Human Services. In the final months of the election, President Trump repeatedly called for removing toxins from our food supply. He added his voice to the millions of Maha moms who were touting the Make America Healthy Again agenda. The first step is radical transparency, because right now, not even the U.S. government knows what's in our food. In 1958, the government created a designation called Generally Recognized as Safe, or GRAS, so that we can make common ingredients like salt and baking soda exempt from testing. But today, it isn't just salt and baking soda. Food companies and cooperative regulators have enlarged the GRAS exemption so that these companies can decide for themselves whether a substance is generally recognized as safe. No FDA approval is needed. European nations, on the other hand, require that a chemical be proven safe before it becomes a food ingredient. In our country, the GRAS standard means that every chemical is presumed safe until proven dangerous, and that proof might not happen until millions of Americans are sick with chronic disease. This mass experiment on the American population with grass has, in short, been a catastrophe. We now have around 10,000 chemicals in our food, while Europe has only 400. For example, titanium dioxide, potentially linked to DNA damage and cancer, is banned in the EU, but it's in our children's food. Potassium bromate, a suspected carcinogen, banned in Europe and Japan. And you guessed it, it's in our children's bread. Food dyes such as red dye 40 and yellow 5 and 6 come with warning labels in Europe. They're linked to behavioral issues in children, but in the US, they're generally recognized as safe. I can't really blame the food companies. They're just doing what we've allowed them to get away with in a system that's taken on a life of its own. We all agree now that it's time to change the system, and that's exactly what we're going to do. I am today directing the FDA commissioner to start the process of changing the rules to eliminate the self-affirming GRAS pathway for new ingredients. I'm also directing the FDA and NIH to ramp up post-market assessments of GRAS chemicals currently in our food so that we can rapidly identify the compounds that are making Americans so sick, and so that American consumers and regulators can make informed decisions. This issue isn't going away. Moms aren't going to return to wanting chemicals in our food that are banned in other developed countries. Even industry knows that we have to change. So I promise you, I'm going to work with all parties, the companies, the moms, the scientists, the consumer advocates, to make American food the healthiest in the world the way that it was when I was a child.
That is the truth. That is what we have to do.
Produced by the U.S.
We have to take control back of the common sense of reality. And he's a common sense thinking person. And he knows that the food has been poisoned for a reason. Now, we can't get into that right here, right now, but it's part of the depopulation agenda. It's to slow the birth rate down and to turn this whole world into a wasteland where a God conscious being would be obsolete. It ain't going to happen. There's too many people awakening consciously that can take their power back from the spell spinners. And we got good men in high places like Robert Kennedy Jr. that can help us break those spells. And he has that ability to talk and do his own research, his due diligence, and not be told like these other people that have held his office. The ones that are spell spinning have been in control of what goes in the food when it shouldn't have been that way. It should be the everyday common man's right to know what goes in our food and not be lied about the safety of the product. If it's poison, don't eat it. But until you know what is actually in the product, that so-called food, start eating real food: apples, oranges, potatoes, sweet potatoes. When you get beef, make sure it's high quality beef. When you get fish, make sure it's naturally wild caught. It's so hard to eat healthy right now, but thank God Robert Kennedy can get us out of this spell spinner reality where other people that have not our best agenda for us to live healthy. Now, they can't be happy enough to control this reality with the collective consciousness of the unconscious sleepers. They want to destroy our food supply systems. All these things burning down. All these animals being euthanized. A little common sense can show you that disclosure is happening with every report of another 100,000 hens being put to death. Price of eggs go up. It's all a way to try to hold on to the power that they once had. So as this disclosure comes forth, we can get on about the business of realizing who this man right here really is. He is an actor on a stage that only once in an opportunity a powerful man like him can come forth and be his own thinker, knowing that he can't tell us everything he knows right now. But the disclosure system that he has established is not going to be put back in a box. It's free. This information is free. If you research and do your due diligence, you'll find out that every horrible, dirty deed that has happened in the last 40 years is man-made and was worked out as a live exercise in a psyop situation. The list is too long, but I'll just say Vietnam. Well, Kennedy, let's just use Kennedy. Kennedy knew that these name changers, these spell spinners, these people that are Luciferian by nature, Anunnaki and Nephilim by bloodline, are the controllers of the entire planetary plane of existence in this reality of a simulated holographic world that we call a reality. No more in control of your own thoughts than you were when you started watching this. But now that you know this, seek out spiritual movies. I've got them on my buddyhuggins.com. If you put it in there, search the word phrase spiritual movies, you'll see a whole list of movies come up. Our echo through time and space gives us one advantage over these name changers, and that is a law that they've ever had to really stick to. And that law says they got to tell us what they're going to do before they do it. And if you have consciousness, then you can see in movies, musics, acting, stage plays, things in history that they what is that word I'm trying to think of right this second? Well, hell, they just put it right in the movie. And they have to tell us what's going to happen. And that's their way of spinning spells, but they were obligated to do it, like the movies. They Live, The Matrix, all these other movies. Their list is tremendous. One night I'll go over all of the movies that I like and I know that have helped me to awaken to Christ consciousness, and books. But yes, these people foreshadowed all of these horrible events that took place where they gave us a little truth. Now we're asking for full disclosure. Keep coming back, keep watching me, and I'll hopefully, as I evolve in my consciousness and ask for wisdom on a daily basis, I'll be able to somehow help this world wake up to the reality of what I call Christ consciousness. It's the greatest gift ever given to a mind of a being that didn't know who he was, where he come from, and where he was going. But this Christ consciousness is the very thing that they're trying to hide from the world. They don't want you to know how powerful you are, because when you can control your thinking, they cannot control your thinking. And then when you help awaken people that are around you, the great awakening is what is manifested through our love and our peace and our desire for full disclosure. It's a powerful thing. All right. I'm going to go, but I want to thank you. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Leave a comment and share this video. Hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. I'll be back. Let me see, today, Sunday at 7 o'clock. I'll see you then. Thank y'all for watching my channel. Appreciate you.